Been watching the Poets and Pints feed tonight on the group page. There's been some good live readings already tonight. Um, Tonight was supposed to be the Main Street Poetry Open Mic led by Tony Placido, which I haven't been able to make it, and obviously tonight this will count as my participation for the open mic. I'm going to read a few poems tonight. I would like to highlight one of my favorite poets, Lawrence Ferlinghetti. He turned 101 years old yesterday. So happy birthday, Lawrence Ferlinghetti. He has quite a few books, and you should check him out. He's famous for City Lights Publishing, as well as the City Lights bookstore in San Francisco. He was the publisher of Howl by Ginsberg. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. So I'm going to start off with a poem of his called I Am Waiting. I am waiting. I am waiting for my case to come up, and I am waiting for a rebirth of wonder. And I am waiting for someone to really discover America and wail. And I am waiting for the discovery of a new symbolic western frontier. And I am waiting for the American eagle to really spread its wings and straighten up and fly right. And I am waiting for the age of anxiety to drop dead. And I am waiting for the war to be fought which will make the world safe for anarchy. And I am waiting for the final withering away of all governments. And I am perpetually awaiting a rebirth of wonder. I am waiting for the second coming, and I am waiting for a religious revival to sweep through the state of Arizona, and I am waiting for the grapes of wrath to be stored, and I am waiting for them to prove that God is really American, and I am waiting to see God on television piped onto church altars, if only they can find the right channel to tune in on. And I am waiting for the Last Supper to be served again with a strange new appetizer, and I am perpetually awaiting a rebirth of wonder. I am waiting for my number to be called, and I am waiting for the Salvation Army to take over, and I am waiting for the meek to be blessed and inherit the earth without taxes, and I am waiting for the forests of animals to reclaim the earth as theirs, and I am waiting for a way to be devised to destroy all nationalisms without killing anybody, and I am waiting for linnets and planets to fall like rain, and I am waiting for lovers and weepers to lie down together again in a new rebirth of wonder. I am waiting for the great divide to be crossed, and I am anxiously waiting for the secret of eternal life to be discovered by an obscure general practitioner. And I am waiting for the storms of life to be over, and I am waiting to set sail for happiness, and I am waiting for a reconstructed Mayflower to reach America with its picture, story, and TV rights sold in advance to the natives, and I am waiting for the lost music to sound again in the lost continent in a new rebirth of wonder. I am waiting for the day that maketh all things clear, and I am awaiting retribution for what America did to Tom Sawyer, and I am waiting for Alice in Wonderland to retransmit to me her total dream of innocence, and I am waiting for Child Roland to come to the final darkest tower, and I am waiting for Aphrodite to grow live arms at a final disarmament conference in a new rebirth of wonder. And I am waiting to get some imitations intimations of immortality by recollecting my early childhood. And I am waiting for the green mornings to come again. Youth's dumb green fields come back again, and I am waiting for some strains of unpremeditated arts to shake my typewriter, and I am waiting to write the great indelible poem, and I am waiting for the last long careless rapture, and I am perpetually waiting for the fleeting lovers on the Grecian urn to catch each other up at last and embrace, and I am awaiting perpetually and forever a renaissance of wonder. So that was I Am Waiting by Lawrence Ferlinghetti, which you can find in his book Coney Island of the Mind, or as I did on the Poetry Foundation. I do have Coney Island of the Mind somewhere in my house, but I was scavenging and could not find the actual book, unfortunately. So I pulled it off the interwebs. Hello, people. For those of you joined in the middle of that, I read that one in honor of Lawrence Ferlinghetti, as his 101st birthday was yesterday. So, cheers. And I'm going to read one of my own poems now, which seemed a little fitting with the ending line here with milk. Maybe I tell that story after the poem. And this poem is in a manuscript I'm working on called Assholes Anonymous. It is a persona poem and does not necessarily reflect on my parenting approach. Just want to give that disclaimer. This is called Trainwreck. My 4-year-old tugs at my shirt. I look up from my book about political turmoil in India in the 1970s. He asks to ride the kiddie train in the mall. Do you know how dangerous trains are? Yes, he responds, unsure if that's a lie. I let him get on and turned back to my book to learn about Shahrukh Majumdar, Kanu Sanyal. Cops killing students, students killing cops. Everyone wants peace but their own kind, a train that has long left the station. Nowadays, farmers take their own lives and save the state the trouble. So what if a bomb or two drops? There are worse things in the news, like my fantasy football running back tearing his ACL. Train wrecks happen more often than I run out of milk, but I only mutter, "Oh shit," when I open the fridge in the morning and my kid with low blood sugar refuses to eat dry cereal. The train attendant is one good book away from starting her own revolution, but for now I give her $2 like the bourgeois I am to press a red button. The train circles, and for a minute and a half I have the happiest boy in the world, blowing the whistle for the whole mall to hear. In the near future, he'll be bawling his eyes out as I try to pry his death grip from the railing and say, "Most kids your age are working the fields," which is neither true nor helping the situation. It should matter that there's been 433 police encounters in Uttar Pradesh over the last 6 months, but right now I'm in no mood to put up with my own little shit kid because my team with $50 riding on the line just lost and was really hoping those derailment odds would pull through so his train would crash and he'd learn how sad his little amusements are. They could get him killed someday. The real tragedy is, I'm only on chapter 5 and the book is due back to the library tomorrow. I'll never ago, but I'm pretty certain there's a loose rail, and if I could get my kid to shut up for 1 minute, I could call my bookie and put 100 on a coal car taking a spill tomorrow, which happens to be the same odds as my snot ball going to college, so long as a bomb does not drop or we run out of milk. So the story with the milk at the ending there, I made a trip to Costco to pick up milk, and of course, for those of you who may not know me, I have 4 kids at home, so I usually get 3 or 4 gallons a week, and of course, because of their limitations, you can only get up to 2. But of course, there are workarounds. You can buy 1 2% and 2 1%. So there are ways, and I still got enough milk. I have not run out of milk yet. So let's hope that stays that way. Okay, I'm going to read another poem by Lawrence Ferlinghetti. And this poem is great, especially for poets, and kind of a rally cry for us poets. So I hope you enjoy it and hope you feel inspired by it as well. And it's also, in these times, advocating getting out and about, which you should not do. So maybe take this advice after all our cloistering is over. But this particular poem is from Wild Dreams of a New Beginning. It is called Populist Manifesto. Poets, come out of your closets. Open your windows, open your doors. You have been holed up too long in your closed worlds. Come down from your Russian hills and Telegraph Hills, your Beacon Hills and your Chapel Hills, your Mount Analogues and your Montparnasses, down from your foothills and mountains, out of your teepees and domes. The trees are still falling and wheel to the woods no more. No time now for sitting in them, as man burns down his own house to roast a pig. No more chanting Hare Krishna while Rome burns. San Francisco's burning. Mayakovsky's Moscow's burning the fossil fuels of life. Night and the horse approaches, eating light, heat, and power, and the clouds have trousers. No time now for the artist to hide above, beyond, behind the scenes, indifferent, paring his fingernails, refining himself out of existence. No time now for our little literary games. No time now for our paranoias and hypochondrias. No time now for fear and loathing. Time now only for light and love. We have seen the best minds of our generation destroyed by boredom at poetry readings. Poetry isn't a secret society. It isn't a temple either. Secret words and chants won't do any longer. The hour of oming is over. The time for keening come. Time for keening and rejoicing over the coming end of the industrial civilization, which is bad for earth and man. Time now to face outward in the full lotus position with eyes open. Time now to open your mouths with a new open speech. Time now to communicate with all sentient beings. All you poets of the cities hung in museums, including myself. All you poets, writing poetry about poetry. All you poetry workshop poets in the boondock heart of America. All you housebroken Ezra Pounds. All you far-out, freaked-out, cut-up poets. All you pre-stressed concrete poets. All you cunnilinguist poets. all you pay-toilet poets groaning with graffiti, all you A-train swingers who never swing on birches, all you masters of the sawmill haiku in the Siberias of America, all you eyeless unrealists, all you self-occulting super-realists, all you bedroom visionaries and closet agipropatators, all you groucho Marxist poets and leisure class comrades who lie around all day and talk about the working class proletariat, all you Catholic anarchists of poetry, all you black mountaineers of poetry, all you Boston Brahmin and Bolinas bucolics, all you den mothers of poetry, all you Zen brothers of poetry, all you suicide lovers of poetry, all you hairy professors of poesy, all you poetry reviewers drinking the blood of the poet, all you poetry police, where are Whitman's wild children? Where the great voices speaking out with a sense of sweetness and sublimity? Where the great new vision, the great world view, the high prophetic song of the immense earth and all that sings in it, and our relation to it? Poets, descend to the street of the world once more, and open your minds and eyes with old visual delight. Clear your throats and speak up. Poetry is dead. Long live poetry, with terrible eyes and buffalo strength. Don't wait for the revolution, or it will happen without you. Stop mumbling and speak out with a new, wide-open poetry, with a new, common-sensual public surface, with other subjective levels or other subversive levels, a tuning fork in the inner ear to strike below the surface. Of our own sweet self still sing, yet utter the word en masse. Poetry, the common carrier for the transportation of the public to higher places than other wheels can carry it. Poetry still falls from the skies into our streets, still open. They haven't put up the barricades yet. The streets still alive with faces. Lovely men and women still walking there. Still lovely creatures everywhere, in the eyes of all the secrets of all still buried there. Whitman's wild children still sleeping there, awake and walk in the open air. So, thank you, and that was my open mic set for the Main Street Poets. I hope you enjoyed it, and happy birthday, Lawrence Ferlinghetti. Check out this one too, it's pretty good. Poetry as Insurgent Art. And actually, since I know I have an audience of poets, I'm going to read some of this, what he writes in here. It's kind of a listy, kind of a list about what poetry is. So I am going to read some of that as well too. Might as well, right? What is poetry? Poetry is what we would cry out upon coming to ourselves in a dark wood in the middle of journey of our life. Poems are burning brows. Poems are arrows of desire. Poetry gives words to the heart. Poetry is the truth that reveals all lies, the face without mascara. What is poetry? Wind stirs the grasses, howls in the passes. Voice lost in dreaming, door floated over the horizon. O drunk flute, O golden mouth, kiss, kiss in stone boudoirs. What is poetry? A clown laughs, a clown weeps, dropping his mask. Poetry is the unknown guest in the house. Poetry is the great memory, every word a live metaphor. Poetry, the eye of the heart, heart of the mind. Words wait to be reborn in the shadow of the lamp of poetry. First light and a dark bird wings away. It's a poem. The morning dove, morning night is my delight. Poems are emails from unknown beyond cyberspace. Poetry is the ultimate inner refuge. Poems are lumina emitting light. Poetry as an anchor in your life is only as good as the depths it can reach. Poetry as a first language before writing still sings in us a mute music, an inchoate music. Life lived with poetry in mind is itself an art. Poems, like moths, press against the window, trying to reach the flame. Poetry, the cry of the heart that awakens angels and kills devils. Poetry is white writing on black, black writing on white. Poems hide in night skies, in broken tenements, in autumn's wind-swept leaves, found letters, faces lost in a crowd. Poetry can be the blue grass of literature, recalling us to down-home beginnings. Poetry, the painting of states of mind and deep profiles of faces. Poetry, a naked woman, a naked man, and the distance between them. Poetry, the supreme fiction. Poetry is news from the growing edge on the far frontiers of consciousness. Poetry, a mute melody in the head of every dumb animal. Poetry, a descent rising out of the dumb heart of darkness. It is private solitude made public. It is the light at the end of the tunnel and the darkness within. It is the morning dove, morning love, and nothing cries out like the cry of the heart. Poetry holds death at bay. Poetry is not all heroin, horses, and Rimbaud. It is also the powerless prayers of airline passengers fastening their seatbelts for the final descent. Poems fulfill longings and put life back together again. Poetry, the shortest distance between two humans. Every bird a word, every word a bird, and every poem an exaggeration understated. Poetry, a procession of water birds in flights mixed with motor accidents. Poetry is boat-tailed birds singing in the setting sun on the tops of jacaranda trees in the plaza of San Miguel de Allende, and all the birds of the universe flocking together in one huge book. Okay, I'm going to stop there. It goes on for several more pages, but I hope you check out that one as well, Poetry as Insurgent Art. I hope you enjoyed the poetry and found it inspiring and relieving, and hope to hear and see you all read poems soon as well too. Thank you.